You don't know the science. You don't know why you think we're in hot water.
Well, I'm just a broccoli at the end of the day.
I get that.
Yeah.
But what are you doing there?
Sorry, I've just got a call. That's the wrong way up. Hold on.
Oh, I do think you need to understand my client is just a broccoli. It's easy to really easy to cherry pick the science.
Yeah, and in this day and age of echo chambers and outrage, it's even easier to handpick the nuts.
I've always been a piece of broccoli.
I'm Stephen Woodford. Thanks for joining me, and this, my fellow apes, is the Nutpicking Fallacy.
This is what evolutionists have been searching for hundreds of years. This is called the crocodile. Can you see this?
God, what a numbnut.
Similar to the straw man fallacy, which occurs when someone deliberately misrepresents a proponent, position, or argument as to make it or them easier to confront.
This is called the crocodile.
The nutpicking fallacy occurs when someone accurately confronts a weak proponent, position, or argument, but presents it or them as if they are a standard or even strong proponent, position, or argument. Or to put it in simpler terms, nutpicking refers to the tactic of showcasing the nuttiest members of a group as if they are a typical or even strong representative of that group. Now, my personal favourite examples are in context of the United States election of 2016, during which Republicans and Democrats alike made nutpicking as American as baseball and apple pie.
I've got a Trump pamphlet here, but I've replaced all the quotes with Hitler quotes.
So today, we sent David Webb to Wisconsin to ask the demonstrators, what are you so upset about? Watch this.
So, on the left-hand side, we have the Inside Edition showcasing nuts who support Donald Trump, and on the right-hand side, we have Sean Hannity showcasing nuts who oppose Donald Trump. In the words of the latter, watch this.
I do not see why man should not be as cruel as nature. Well, why do you think he comes up with that?
Well, man is the cruelest animal.
Are you protesting Donald Trump? Yes. What's the policy that you object to? All of it.
Just like the things he says about women and like the racism.
Like what?
Great liars are also great magicians. Wow. Well, I think that, you know, he's gonna lie in any way, probably to like support the country, to keep the country going.
Good.
There'll be good lies.
Are you working with a group? You've got a UAW sign right there.
Donald Trump has accused me of whatever. No, I do not. Yes, I am union. Union is standing.
So do you still support Trump?
Yeah, but I don't support Hitler.
With the way things are, I think Trump is gaining a lot of ground because he's,
Well, but you support these quotes, all right?
Well, if Donald Trump said him, I'd support him.
You have to admit, whether you support Trump, oppose Trump, or have absolutely no craps to give, these nuts are, to put it politely, aggravating. But here's the thing, the Insider and Hannity are not guilty of nutpicking simply because they gave these loons a microphone. No, they are guilty of nutpicking because they conflated these nuts with the whole group to which they belong. They treated them as if they are typical representatives. The Inside Edition did this by consistently conflating, with condescending music, a handful of nuts from the most populous county in the whole of the United States with all Trump supporters.
Watch what happens when Donald Trump fans are read what they thought were quotes of his.
And Hannity is guilty of nutpicking because he conflated the nuttiest people he could find at a protest with the whole Democratic Party.
America's going to be watching, and America's going to say, why do we want this in the White House again? We've had this for 8 years.
Yeah. Thanks, Obama. What's more, Hannity further poisoned the well by showcasing, and then once again conflating with the entire Democratic Party, a violent nut in Janesville.
You see an elderly person literally punched in the face.
Seriously, Obama, for crying out loud. Anyhow, there we have it, folks. Two juxtaposed examples of the nutpicking fallacy. Now, despite the low-hanging nature of both of these videos, they each accumulated massive traction. And that's the problem. In the age of echo chambers, nuts are a primary ingredient of virality, and it's precisely due to this fact that detractors are massively incentivized to engage in such rhetoric.
But it seems that the left has not one credible voice left.
Enter Exhibit D, Sargon of Akkad. Truth be told, I don't particularly dislike Sargon. I don't go out of my way to watch his videos, but from what I have seen, and I might be wrong because I haven't watched all of his content, he's pretty liberal. However, he is, without doubt, one of the absolute worst offenders of nutpicking. His recipe seems to be: step 1, find a nut. Step 2, ridicule and expose that nut. Step 3, conflate that nut with the entire group to which they belong. Step 4, profit. To demonstrate this, let's take one of his recently published videos. Here's one, it's titled "The Left-Wing Doommongers Are Wrong," and it's loosely, very loosely, I must say, a response to the end-of-the-world claims made by some climate activists.
It really seems that the left is about to leap off a cliff, and as you can see from Lily Allen's tweet, well, if it wasn't these Muslim guys, someone would have raped these women. And Michael Moore recently, again, like yesterday this was on a podcast where he said, white people have not changed, you should be afraid of them. This is what the left will say in response to it, because look at this. Sickening and disgusting. You lunatic. But it seems that the left has not one credible voice left. Jeremy Corbyn. In 2009, Al Gore was saying there'd be no ice caps left. The left has gone mental.
But has it though?
Is he though?
Maybe, just maybe, Sargon is conflating the nuts with the whole. I mean, I for one am on the left, and yet I find Lily Allen's tweet ridiculous, Michael Moore moronic, Jeremy Corbyn dangerous, and the end of the world climate claims utterly hysterical. In fact, I haven't met a single person who isn't religious that believes that the world is going to end in 12 years. And that includes those who support Cortez.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
Most people who are way further left than I've ever been find Cortez's fear-mongering extremely cringy and counterproductive. Hence, in one video, Sargon has conflated the left as a whole with a handful of nuts, and he's got a lot of views to show for it. And this is just one example from one content creator. If we just continue with the theme of the left, we could list for days examples from Stefan Molyneux,
Supposedly scientific left, a leftist around. To the left, to the left. To the left. To the left, to the left.
Stephen Crowder,
left, the left as the left. The left, leftism, to the left. To the left. According to today's left, big government left. Official platform of the left.
And so on. Likewise, of course, we could do exactly the same with the theme of the right.
Our country is in grave danger. Right wing, far right, the far right. Slide to the right. Far right, hard right, right wing media, Stalinist Russia. To right wing authoritarian populism. Right wing authoritarian populism. Right wing authoritarian populism by the right wing media, by the far right.
Especially since many left-leaning outlets have taken to labelling absolutely anyone or anything that's not as left as them as right.
Just as when you're at the North Pole, all directions are south, the left pole is the mystical spot from which all directions are right.
The sad truth is that most people don't actually want an honest intellectual exchange. They want vindication. They want to say, yeah, you see, that group I don't like is nuts. And so nutpicking is currently not only as American as baseball and apple pie, but as human as death and taxes. Handing the nuttiest members of your opposition a megaphone is, sadly, an extremely profitable form of rhetoric. It is thus not going anywhere lest we, as a whole, raise our collective consciousness. Just as most people today can spot a straw man a mile off, and, crucially, are embarrassed by their team, so to speak, when they are the offender, we need to gently raise our collective consciousness so that most people can spot nutpicking a mile away, and, consequently, are similarly embarrassed. Until we achieve this, however, nutpicking will remain supreme. Everyone's social media feeds will continue to be a giant circle jerk.
How could we possibly have lost? Everyone I know voted the same way I did. When will we learn that the real world is not on your Facebook feed?
Now, the last thing I'd like to say about this fallacy is that it pays to think of groups as candy bars. While all bars may contain nuts, some bars are predominantly made of nuts, such is the case with anti-vaxxers, creationists, and flat earthers. Most anti-vaxxers really do believe that vaccines cause autism. Most creationists really do believe that evolution is a hoax, and most flat earthers really do endorse an insatiable amount of conspiracies.
Pretty much everyone here, though, is kind of a conspiracy theorist.
I'll say that's a common trait.
Hence, sometimes, a nut really is a typical or even strong representative, and in such cases, no nutpicking fallacy is committed. Anyhow, I'm Stephen Woodford, and as always, thank you kindly for the view, and an extra special thank you to my wonderful patrons and those of you who have supported the channel via other means. I am extremely pleased to announce that Debunked is on its final stretch, and it will be with everyone who backed very shortly.